Alright, boys. We're finally back with another monthly movie recap. This one's only 2 months out, so that's not that big a deal. But we have quite a few movies to talk about today, so let's just dive right in. So the first movie I wanted to talk about today was Joe from 1970. Joe is a movie about this rich guy whose daughter is dating this, drug-dealing degenerate. So then the father goes to pick up the daughter's stuff from the drug-dealing degenerate because his daughter went to the hospital. And while he's there, he gets angry with the drug-dealing degenerate and starts fighting him. And while he's fighting him, he accidentally kills him. And he's thrilled that he killed him. And then he goes to this bar, and he meets this guy named Joe. Now, Joe hates hippies. He hates the new young movement of these people trying to be, progressive and stuff. He doesn't like a lot of the influence that they have. He doesn't like blacks. He very much hates the way that these new young generation are trying to change the world. Him and the rich guy start bullshitting. I don't remember the rich guy's name, but as Joe's talking with him, he eventually tells Joe, "I just did," as in he killed one of the hippies. Because Joe has been doing a bunch of talking about killing hippies. And so then him and Joe start up this friendship, and they talk about, basically taking vigilantism and going and killing these hippies. But originally, they're just bullshitting and talking about it. But then, they actually go out one night, and they're trying to find his daughter, who runs off because his daughter overheard that he killed her boyfriend. And so they're tracking her down. They end up fucking these hippie chicks. They end up getting high. The hippie chicks that are left with them, they basically threaten them to tell them where the other hippies took their wallets, because, they were robbed by these hippies. And so then they track him down to try and get revenge. And spoiler, the movie has a tragic ending where the guy accidentally kills his daughter amongst the raid and getting their wallets back because she's with the hippies. I saw that coming a mile away once I knew they were going to track him down. Yeah, there's a big shootout scene at the end. This is a really good movie. It's one of those gritty 70s movies that is very distinctly 70s, although it is right in the dot of 70s, right? It was 1970. But this movie was pretty based. It was pretty cool. I liked the commentary in it. It basically was not portraying the hippies, which are the boomers, who are the ones who ruin the country by moving away from their old traditional values and going with the hippie movement and bullshit like that. But it does portray somewhat nuanced with the portrayal of it, and the fact that he accidentally kills his daughter at the end is obviously tragic. Overall, this movie was a lot of fun, and obviously not a lot of people talk about it. Next up, we'll be talking about a new movie, or newer. It was from this year. 28 Years Later. This is a sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Months Later, as you could imagine. 28 Years Later, I really liked this movie. I liked it a hell of a lot more than 28 Weeks Later, to be honest. It's not as good as 28 Days Later. I still think that's my favorite zombie movie by far. There's some, mixed reception on this one, because there's a zombie that gives birth to a baby, and the baby is, human. And there's this weird line where this guy says, "the magic of the placenta," to kind of explain, I guess placenta prevents it from turning or getting the rage virus. I don't know. But it does introduce some new concepts, like these slow-moving fat zombies that are kind of useless, as well as alpha zombies who are, super powerful. So it was nice building on the lore. The first act of this movie is brilliant, where this dad and son are going back to the mainland, because they start out on this, island off the coast of the UK, and then they go down to the mainland through this causeway. And the first act's fucking great. I loved it. The dad taking the son to kill his first zombies and stuff like that, right? To make his first run to the mainland. And then his dad, makes this, whole hero story about them, and the son's, upset that the dad's exaggerating it. The dad, he also finds out, is having an affair. And then after they, find out, the dad's clearly hiding something, there's a doctor on the mainland that, the dad didn't want the kid to find out about, and this doctor's kind of kooky, because, he doesn't, kill the zombies a lot of the time, and he kind of takes the skulls of the dead and like is building this giant skull tower. And also, like, at the beginning of the movie, there was this guy named Jimmy, who is apparently inspired by Jimmy Savile, which I could see with the way he dresses at the end of the movie. And his dad was, like, a priest, and then the apocalypse happened. Apparently this Jimmy guy is going to be the leader of a cult in the next sequel. He's very minor in this movie. I've heard all sorts of takes about this movie and the commentary of, like, sort of the pagan right-wing group versus the Christian right-wing group, and sort of that sort of commentary. And I can see where people are coming from with some of that. I don't know how true all that is. We'll have to wait and see when the sequels come out. I thought it was a good movie regardless. I had a lot of fun watching it. And overall, I felt it was closer in tone to 28 Days Later than 28 Weeks Later was. Next up, we'll be talking about a movie that I watched forever ago but keep forgetting to mention in this, and that's the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. Now, I have never read the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. They're a little after my time, and I would have never thought to have seen the movie until Corbin asked me if I wanted to watch it and really wanted to watch it with me. So we watched it, and yeah, it was really funny. Greg Heffley is a bad friend. The whole thing with the cheese was kind of weird. Like, there was a piece of cheese on the ground that they're like, oh, if you touch it, you'll get the cheese touch, and nobody will want to deal with you. And there's a bunch of little mini plots of Greg just being a shit friend and getting his friend Raleigh fucked over. Also Raleigh writes this comic where he has characters say Zooey Mama and stuff like that. It's really funny. That's where Zooey Mama comes from, I guess. I mean, maybe it was a thing before that, but I've heard that phrase before, so now I know. Movie was really funny. Again, I haven't read the books. The cheese thing did kind of remind me of, like, urban legends, you know, that they tell back when I was in middle school and high school. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I quite enjoyed it. Again, it's one I've been meaning to talk about for a while. I saw it forever ago, so apologies for not being super detailed, because, again, it's been fucking forever since I've seen it. There was this one bitch in the movie, though, that was not in the books, and you can very much tell because she has, like, no fucking impact on the plot, and every time she's there, she just feels like she doesn't need to be there. Like, she feels like surplus to requirements. Only character I didn't like in the movie, and luckily she's apparently not in the sequels. Next up, we have Rolling Thunder. Now, this is a movie about a guy returning from Vietnam, a Vietnam War veteran. And this is, again, another 70s vigilante movie. And the first act of the movie is just basically, how badly can we fuck up this guy's life? Hey, guess what? Your wife's leaving you for another guy. Hey, guess what? Those coins you got, these assholes are gonna come and steal it from you. Your son also doesn't know you. Your son barely knows you. He doesn't really recognize you. Because you left when he was a baby. And these guys that are gonna steal your coins, yeah, they're gonna torture you for it because he didn't tell them where the coins were. And they fucking do all this horrific torturing, put his hand in the garbage disposal, really fuck him up. And then, but again, this guy, by the way, while he was in Vietnam, was a prisoner of war and was brutally tortured before that. Oh, but as you're being tortured and holding out because you've been tortured before, guess what? Your son's going to immediately tell them where the coins are. And as a thanks for that, they kill your son and wife in front of you. How cool is that? And so, yeah, the first act is really fucking depressing in, like, just really fucking up this guy's life. But then the movie becomes a vigilante movie where he's tracking them down and getting revenge on them. And it's fucking awesome. Really loved this movie. Again, 70s vigilante movies are fucking peak cinema. I love these fucking movies. That's why Joe was also great. A lot of these movies give off the kind of vibe that Boogie does. And you guys know how much I love Boogie, and I'm talking about Boogie the Oily, or Boogie El Acetoso. I'm not talking about the fucking shitty YouTuber. You guys know, if you've been watching me for a while, how much I fucking love that character. And, like, a lot of these movies definitely, like, feel like that kind of thing, because Boogie was obviously inspired by a lot of these things. The ending scene with the shootout was fucking great. Tommy Lee Jones was great in that scene at the end. Overall, just a great movie. Next up, we have Island of Giant Insects, and don't worry, Spencer, if you're watching this, I will do a full review of this one. This is one that the dub was, like, sort of like lost media, almost, for a while, and it's just kind of a shitty anime movie that's, like, has moments that kind of elicit thoughts of hentai with like these bugs attacking women and stuff, but it never goes like full on with that. There is a little bit of nudity in it, but not really till towards the end. It's just a bunch of people trapped on an island with giant insects. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty schlocky. And the reason I say it was almost lost media is because of the dub. There is a sub that you can find all over the place online and get like bootleg DVDs from Malaysia or whatever. But the sub was like a Kickstarter backing bonus on the Blu-ray, and like nobody had ripped it online, and you can't get it anywhere else, and I can never find any copies of it online. But Spencer eventually found it, and so we watched it together. And it's got like a so bad it's good like intentionally funny dub. Like it's a dub that was intentionally like a parody dub, you know, like Shin-Chan or Ghost Stories had. And I liked it. There were some issues I have with it. Like, it has a lot of that kind of modern dub humor. And I'll go into this more in the review, but, like, they think that, like, naughty word plus random equals le funny insult. And what I mean by that is they say things like whore biscuit and douche canoe. And then they just have characters doing, like, the boomstick voice from, like, Death Battle, like, alright, every anime character has to talk like this. Like, I mean, I'm doing a shitty job of it. But, it's very, like, reminiscent of, like, modern dub humor and modern internet humor there are a lot of funny lines in it. You know, like, my sweater says yes, but my heart says no. Like, there's funny shit in it. But there's a lot of, things that, aren't so great. And honestly, like, if you want to get the full experience, just watch the YouTube video where someone made a highlight reel of it called Island of Giant Insects has a dub. Just watch that. You'll get, like, all you really need out of it. The rest of it's kind of not that funny. Like, there are, like, other funny moments here. Like, it is funny. It was worth watching. It's sort of a curio because it was hard to find. But nevertheless, again, I'll get more into it in my review. I did enjoy it. I had fun with it. It reminds me of things like Midnight Strike Force or Ghost Stories or Shin-Chan with the way the dub is. But I think that those were all funnier than this. But it was still fun. Next up, we'll be talking about The Exterminator. Now, this is another 70s vigilante movie, and it's by Troma, or at least it was released by Troma. And the first act has a lot of violence and, like, pretty good special effects, just in the beginning when he's in the war. And the rest of the movie, he's, like, hunting down these criminals and taking them out. You know, it's a pretty standard vigilante plot. It's fun. The plot is fun. He does take down, like, an underage boy, like, prostitution ring, and, like, kill the people there. It kind of channels Taxi Driver with kind of what they're going with that. But I'm going to be honest, one of the biggest disappointments in this movie is the kills themselves. They're not super gory. They're not super over the top. They're interesting enough, but a lot of stuff is, like, off screen or it cuts away. Again, it's a fun movie, but it definitely, I feel like, kind of loses its edge the more it goes on. But nevertheless, it was a fun movie, and there is a sequel that I do plan to check out just to see how that is. Next up, we have Anatomy of a Fall. Now, this is a movie that me and my friend Theron have been meaning to watch for a while, and it kind of became an inside joke among us to say, oh, let's watch Anatomy of a Fall. Kind of like A Boy and His Dog was an inside joke with me and Corbin, because we kept saying we were going to watch it, and then we did. Or rather, in A Boy and His Dog's case, it was Corbin kept telling me to review it, and then I would say, oh yeah, I will, and it took like 2 or 3 years. Anatomy of a Fall is a legal drama about a guy who falls either from the roof or a balcony, and falls and dies. And there are multiple explanations for what it could have been. Could have been a suicide, could have been murder, could have been an accident. And the thing that I like about this movie is at multiple points in the movie, it had fully convinced me one way or another. There was a part where they show a fight that the guy had with his wife, and during that scene, I thought to myself, she totally killed him. But then later on, they show a conversation he had with his son that kind of implied he was going to take himself out, and I'm like, oh, maybe it was suicide. Like, there was a bunch of different stuff at different points in the movie where it genuinely made me question stuff. The district attorney, or I can't remember what term they used some other term, but the prosecutor who's interrogating the wife, there are points in the movie where you feel like, man, fuck this guy, he's really ripping into her, but then there's other times where you're like, yeah, rip into her, fuck this bitch. Like, it's really interesting how this movie can shift your perception multiple times throughout it. And the thing I like is they leave it ambiguous at the end. And they also never, like, show some of this, like, there's this, the fight scene. There's audio for it, but they never show the video because they don't want to confirm. Like, there is no video of it. The husband was recording audio. But they never show the audience of the movie what actually happened. You just hear the audio, and you have to fill it in your head with the explanations given, and whether or not you accept that. So I thought it was brilliant. It was a French movie. Like, it was all in French. But yeah, it was a good movie. I quite liked it. We kept bringing it up because we had watched 12 Angry Men. And this was, another similar legal drama with trying to figure out whether or not The Fall was foul play. Next up, we got Ashen's and the Polybius Heist. This is Ashen's second movie. And it's been forever since I've seen the first one, Quest for the Game Child, so I couldn't tell you which one I prefer. Polybius Heist was fun. As the title would imply, it is Ashen's trying to steal Polybius. But there's like a weird plot point where it's actually his father that invented Polybius, and he runs like a private detective agency in this movie as well. And then they build a team to like go in and steal stuff, and I think they get like 11 members of the team just so they can say Ashen's 11, which was pretty funny. There were some jokes that definitely didn't land for me. I would have liked it if it was a little more over the top in some aspects. I would have liked it was more structured in other aspects. But overall, it was a really fun movie. I like Ashen's. Ashen's was one of my biggest inspirations when I started the channel, or rather when I rebooted the channel in 2015. So yeah, I liked this movie a lot. Again, I couldn't tell you if it was better than Game Child or not, because I haven't seen Game Child in years. There was a lot of funny jokes. Robert Llewellyn is in it again as the professor, reprising his role. And it had a bunch of other people that Ashen's has collaborated with in it. It had Nerd Cubed, it had Barry Lewis. Much like Game Child, had a bunch of cameos in it as well. But yeah, one of the jokes I really liked is they say, oh, we need a grease man. And he's like, okay, I'll get you a grease man. And he just gets a man from Greece who doesn't even speak English. Like, what they wanted was a guy they could grease up and slip through a vent. Or thermal exhaust port, as Ashen's keeps insisting it is, and not a vent. Yeah, it was really funny. Because again, they just get a guy from Greece, and then throughout the movie he's taking English lessons, and then he speaks perfect English by the end of the movie. Yeah, it was really funny. And keeping with comedy, next up we have Naked Gun 33 1/3. This is the third Naked Gun movie. I've seen the other two in the past, and this was, more of the same Leslie Nielsen comedy. I do think that the first one was still the best one. This one was still a lot of fun. It is also where that meme of everybody face-palming comes from, that's always used in, like, reaction clips, so now I know where that comes from. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Naked Gun 33 1/3, although, again, kind of, as it goes on, becomes a little bit less funny, I think. I think early on is really where it's strongest. It is still fun towards the end. But the first Naked Gun movie I still think is way better. Alright, and to end off with, we have 127 Hours. This is a movie where James Franco is playing a hiker who gets his arm trapped in a rock. Blue John Canyon in Utah. This is based on a real guy, so it's a true story. And the guy is trapped there for 5 days, 127 hours. And he tries to get out. He hopes that help will come at one point. He tries to break the rock, tries to cut through it, tries to see if breaking his arm will get it out, and ultimately, at the end of it, he does have to cut his arm off in a pretty brutal way. And again, it is a true story, and I have heard of this movie before. This is another one I've been meaning to watch for a while. It was a pretty great movie. Most of the movie is just him in the canyon with his arm trapped. And we get other bits fed to us through flashbacks and hallucinations. Yeah, it's pretty tense. It's a pretty freaky movie. It kind of made me want to show my friend The Descent, because I don't think he's seen that. So maybe I'll show him that some other time. But yeah, it was a really good movie, and it was a serious role for James Franco. Anyway, I think I've yabbered on enough. This has been another monthly movie recap. I'm Fugitive Red Eye. Have a good one. Toodles.